Scott Hunter here, sitting down with the man behind the madness, Psycho Mike, as we take a look back at the first ever What's in the Box match. Mike, what are you drinking there, Mike?
It's red wine, Jackson Triggs.
Jackson Triggs, all right.
Yeah, 1984.
How you keeping up with that quarantine life here, buddy?
It's going.
It's gone.
Well, it's just I've done a couple podcasts, and that's the question. The podcast that used to be like, how did you get started? You know, who were your favorite wrestlers growing up? Now it's all like, oh, how's this quarantine thing coming along?
From Buffalo, New York.
We don't really want to talk about it because it's supposed to be a cheery thing that we're doing right now.
Well, absolutely.
I say succinctly that I'm very lonely, and I'm so happy that I get to see another human face.
Well, hopefully we can use this context in this match to kind of cheer each other up then.
Yes.
So this is the first ever What's in the Box match. You're taking on your now former partner, Pepper Parks, in a match that it's never been done before. And this is coming out of the brain of Psycho Mike. Talk me through, I guess, the thought process of this match. How did it come?
Yeah, so on the show, so we're up third right now, and it came up. We were up after Tarek and Seb doing I think it was a chairs match, or was it a kendo sticks? I think it was chairs. It was a chairs match, and then it was TDT against the Smash Brothers in a tables match, and then we were up third, and it was like, all right, I guess you guys go out and you do your grudge match, and I knew that those were going to be tough acts to follow, and thematically they were both grudge matches with weapons. So going into this, I already knew ahead of time that we had to do something special or different for our grudge match, and I thought that the best approach would be to do it completely tonally different. And the advantage that we had was that we already knew the booking. We were supposed to get back together after this. So it was back in one of the camping. What was the like up north when we do those, like the loops up there?
Barry's Bay.
Barry's Bay. And I remember like drinking around the campfire, and we came up with the idea for the post-match segment, which I will keep a surprise for now. But we knew where we wanted to get to. And then the idea with the booking was that we were supposed to get back together after this match. And I didn't want to do that cliche thing of, all right, well, we're going to have a grudge match, we're going to make each other bleed, and at the end, we're just going to look at each other in the eyes and say how much we respect each other, and then it's like an episode of The Simpsons where nothing happened. So the tone we were going for was more of a, like, we're two brothers in a big disagreement, and we're like fighting in the basement. And then we're gonna like kiss and make up afterwards. Not literally, although that would have been an interesting twist. It was supposed to be, let's go through the same beats of a grudge match, but the tone of it will be different. Like, we don't want to be fighting each other. We're doing it based on circumstances, and when it's all said and done, we'll realize how much we love each other, and then we go on our big baby face run. But that was the main trigger for this. And leading up to this, we were playing with some ideas about how people would, like, if this was a story, if this was a thing going on in real life, how would they interact with each other on Twitter and things like that. And so we were playing off this gimmick where I kept trying to send them gifts and cards to apologize, because we were going through the stereotypical beats that a tag team would go through when they're about to split up, right? When we started this tag team, you know, we were two singles wrestlers, two body guys. Everyone just, like, we're completely different. You could tell right from the get-go that everybody was just waiting for us to split up. So we were playing off of those beats and doing the most, like, stereotypical stuff in our matches with miscommunication and things like that to kind of set this up. This was before, The Last Jedi tried to subvert everybody's expectations. So we were ahead of the game on subversion here.
And I think the well-oiled machines in general was
Yeah.
almost a happy accident here in Smash Wrestling
Yeah.
because, as you said, you were both two singles competitors that were just kind of put together as a team, and it just clicked. You guys just seemed to work really well together because he was the perfect straight man to your goofiness.
Yeah, so that's what the gift's all about, though, is that we kept putting gifts into our matches. We were alluding to them, that I'm trying to make up with him, but it's a story about two people growing apart. And everybody's experienced this in their life with a childhood friend where they just start growing apart, and usually one person's fighting to keep the relationship alive and the other one's trying to become more detached. So Pepper was becoming more detached. I was struggling to keep the relationship alive. But that's how the boxes came in. And leading into this, for a while, I had this idea of like kind of making fun of like typical grudge matches. And what I actually wanted to do was like gift wrap a table, right? Stuff like that. Which a lot of the stuff I wanted to do in this match, we actually just didn't. I saved for TLB later. But because of the tables match and the chair match, like I couldn't actually use these props that grudge matches typically use. And then leading up to it, I just by happenstance found a bunch of these boxes, and I brought them. I got a bunch of wrapping paper, and I didn't know what to do with them just yet, but I knew like this was going to be the gimmick of the match. And what I wanted to do was to use these these present themed things as analogies for like real spots, if you know what I mean. So like this, like bumping through the table is to like mimic, bumping through the box would be like mimicking a table bump and things like that. And we'll touch on them as they come along. But,
and I think it's for me. I remember very vividly this day of kind of setting up the ring and getting the show ready to go, and you're in the corner and you're just wrapping up a whole bunch of boxes.
Quite a bit of prep for this.
There's a lot of prep that went into this. I remember it was you and about 3 or 4 staff members all kind of just frantically wrapping boxes as much as you could. And I remember looking at it thinking like, what the hell is this match?
Yeah.
And not really, even as like we're getting into like the entrances of this match, I'm looking at Brad and I'm thinking, I have no idea what we're about to call here. I just know it's going to be good. And it was. This match has really become synonymous with the promotion in terms of when people think about Smash Wrestling. This is one of the first matches that comes to everybody's mind. It's just what's in the box, because it was just so out there, but so good.
So what you're seeing now is it's like it's supposed to mimic what you would typically see with a kendo stick, right? And we had I knew going in, like the psychology wanted an order of escalation, and the thing with the kendo sticks would be less than some of the other stuff will be later. But we didn't want to just bust this roll of wrapping paper out right away, because it wouldn't make sense, right? And people wouldn't understand what's going on here.
Right.
And we wanted to, so we knew we had to allude to the box, right? Because everyone was going, what's in the box? What's in the box? They understood the box aspect, but we didn't want to show the box and then have to pay it off right away or something like that. But we also know that people aren't going to really buy anything in the match until they see what's in that box. So the way we kind of did it was to introduce the box. It was actually Pepper's. A lot of people say like this was my brainchild. Like Pepper's literally the one that came up with the match, calling it the What's in the Box match. Because beforehand, I couldn't figure out how do we introduce this box without doing it a thing where you pull it out and set it up, and everyone's just waiting for people to bump in it. So he said, like, she just kind of blurted out, like, why don't we just call it a What's in the Box match? And just the ridiculousness of me just grabbing a microphone and challenging him to this match without explaining the rules or what it's about. But he completely understands what it is, and everyone's just kind of on the ride for the journey as they're learning what the match is about, which is like you're watching it right now.
Well, and I think that the title for the match was perfect, because I think you're right. A lot of the psychology is stemming around what's in the box, where you're watching this match between, as you said, these two guys just carrying out this grudge match, but in the back of your head, I really want to know what's in that box.
Yeah.
So I think it's the title of the match kind of really played into what the fans were thinking while they're watching.
Pepper told me after that those like he said that those were really painful. When I was hitting him, like I was just pelting him, thinking it's like cardboard, right? This can't hurt. He said it was the most painful thing that he's ever done. I was laying him in.
With the tubes?
Tubes, yeah.
Well, you're a pretty big guy.
Actually,
it'd be different if I was.
Yeah, you could see him covering up because it was so painful. And this was just like a silly. I think we might have just done this one on the fly. Just like, do you think they would react to us bumping on something that clearly doesn't hurt, right? But like, there's this suspension of disbelief, right? We're taking the subject matter seriously. We're taking the content of the match seriously, and you're just kind of like watching it when we're so self-aware and tongue-in-cheek about everything. Just we're having fun, and that's what this match is about. Is people watching it and having fun. And I'll talk about comedy wrestling a lot, where I don't really like the term because it's also often used in this way of it's like a different genre of match, and it's just, you know, you get those beats of like, oh yeah, you hit the rope and you tell me to look up, and I look up and you slap me in the face. You know, this is kind of the hokey thing, right? But the thing with this match is it's funny, it's entertaining, but it's actually telling a good story. Well, this is at least what I wanted, and I hope this is what people are getting out of it. But it's making you feel stuff, right? When you watch, you know, your typical 5-star match, it's making you feel, you know, suspense. You're on the edge of your seat, and I still wanted to elicit those same kind of feelings, just with a different tone, like a different theme. And like right here, you know, it's like I hope people are really excited to see what's in this bag right now, you know. And I remember the reaction here. This is when I knew that we had it. When I dumped these bows out, and everybody knew what they were supposed to be an analogy for, and what they were supposed to represent. And then later, eventually, we bump in it, and just hearing that reaction, like I just knew that, like, okay, everybody gets what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to like goof around. Like I'm taking this match really seriously, but people are having fun while watching it, and that's what I wanted.
Well, and it's also worth noting as well that me on commentary, I don't know what's in any of these boxes. I don't know because you guys kept a lot of this stuff very close to the chest. So
well, it wasn't like a deliberate thing. It's just we were, I think maybe 10 minutes before we went out, we figured out, like we had A, we had B, we had C, we had D, you know, that type of thing, and we were trying to figure out how to get in between them. This was actually the only thing we practiced, was laying out the bows. Before the show, I actually knew what I wanted here were the tiny boxes that you normally see on cakes, but I couldn't find them. So when I was at the gym this morning, Justin Sane was there, and just like asked me about the show tonight. I was telling him about the match and what I wanted to do, and I was telling him, like, I'm looking for these tiny gift boxes. I can't find them. And he said, why don't you just use bows? So I went to the dollar store and bought a bunch, and then we. Before the show, like, I laid them out in the middle of the ring. Like, I asked everybody to clear the ring with Pepper, like as if we were going to practice a spot, and then we poured the bows out in the middle of the ring, and it's like, oh, it's not enough. And Matt was there, the other ref on the show, and he actually drove out to another dollar store to get us more bows to fill it up a bit more.
See, and when you initially dumped it on commentary, I'm pretty sure I thought it was candy.
Yeah.
I thought it was candy, and then I was corrected. And once I realized it was bows, like, that's when the context comes into play. But I think that's it was cool for me not knowing what was in it, because I think I kind of had that same reaction that a lot of people in the crowd was having, where I'm just enjoying this for what it is. I'm just having some fun with. And so how much of this was you guys planning stuff, and how much was you guys just having fun calling it on the fly?
The big beats we knew, like we knew basically it was just the order. We knew we were going to go with the tubes, then the bows, and then we were gonna, first it was introduce the box, then the tubes, then the bows, and then what you see is gonna happen next. So there's actually an interesting story here too. So going into this, I was kind of, like Pepper really reined it in as a less is more type thing. And I don't, so a lot of people are giving me credit for this match. And I want to make it clear how much Pepper was, like this was, I would say this was 50% his execution. And so this part right here was his idea, and I think the best part of the match was this. And he actually really hurt his knee on that one. But that's actually 2 boxes underneath put together, and I wanted to do 3 spots with the boxes, and he was the one that came up with the idea of putting them together to pay off. Like they think them thinking that it's the little box, is that what they're waiting for? And then once he gets the little box, he kind of just throws it away like it means nothing, and then we do this big reveal for me with the big box here. And then this is the real payoff. So that was his idea. If it was my idea, we would have just blown probably through like 3 stunt show spots, and then this just ended up working a whole lot better, especially since we're just building up to this one payoff at the end, which was everybody learning what was in the box, which is literally the title of the match, right?
Well, and I can remember on commentary thinking, I don't know what's in this box, but whatever it is, I'm just going to sell the shit out of it.
So, when Matt went to get the bows, he actually came back with a bunch of balloons as well. And he just said, I just picked them up if you needed them. And so Pepper comes by, and we're about to wrap these boxes. And he says, and he sees the balloons, and he says, like, why don't we just put the balloons in here? I'm like, okay, we might as well. It maybe cushions the fall a bit. I was Spider-Man there, and I don't know if you saw my athleticism as I avoided crushing that box, but it was just literally this last-minute thing that we were wrapping these, and he said, let's put these balloons in the box, and then we were about to tape them. And then I said, like, let's not tape them. Let's keep them loose because maybe they'll come out. If they don't, whatever. If they do, it's going to look a lot better. But it just built up to this one payoff right here. And you can see me smiling and pointing up, like right here. Like, hey, look, they came down. The balloons are everywhere. But like I'm smiling and marking out, and Pepper's being like the grizzled vet, like, wait for it. Okay, now we got him, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that moment where the balloons came flying out of the box is kind of etched in my mind as well. But I didn't know that was a last minute thing.
Yeah, and then once they're in there, like they were wrapped, it's like, okay, we're committed. We put the stuff under the ring, like we were committed to everything, and then once doors open and we're in the back, we're like, okay, well, we know the order of the stuff. Let's figure out, like, the psychology's there. Let's figure out the meat and potatoes in between. And so,
it begs the question: if that was last minute, what was originally supposed to be in the box?
That was, so the order, like it was after the what's in the box literally was probably invented. The match concept was invented about 10 minutes before we went. We knew it's kind of like how Hollywood has their set pieces, their act 1, 2, and 3. Like we knew that, and then it's like, all right, let's fill out the script. So we knew we were committed to the one box and then the bigger box. We knew that's the tease we wanted to do. We were going to tease the little box, but it was like a fake tease. But here's the bigger one. This is the real payoff. And the balloons were already in there. And the way we set it up, we hoped that they would come out when we fell through it. We knew the finish already was going to be the superplex, but then when we got in the back, it was like, okay, how do we make this a coherent thing? And then Pepper, that's when he just said, let's just call it a what's in the box match. Just challenge me to a what's in the box match, and then we can reveal the box on the stage, and it solved all of our problems. because it set that one thing on its own set the tone for. We couldn't have done anything afterwards. As this is the segment that we wrote months earlier. Beers over a campfire.
Well, and this the crazy thing is, this is the only part that I knew was going to happen before the match started, and I remember thinking this was so dumb and it would never work. And then once the match started, I remember in the back of my head, oh, this is gonna pop now, because you guys you had them so much in the match that it made this work.
So I wasn't going over the match much during the show, because I was so confident that it was going to the match, because you get these. I knew that I was confident in the set pieces and the payoff and everything. The thing that I spent all my time practicing were the lyrics to the song. So I knew the song well, but I didn't know the lyrics. So I looked up on YouTube and a version of it where it was showing the lyrics as the song played, but I picked the extended version, which has like an extra verse, and that's the verse that I learned, and the verse that I memorized is not the verse that everybody knows the song for. So like I memorized the harder part, and then I think I stumbled over the lyrics a little bit,
but it almost doesn't even matter,
because I think it's singing it on their own that we didn't expect.
Yeah, and as soon as and here's the thing is, I can remember James Key. When we initially said it, he looked at when we were talking about it, and I said, "This isn't going to work." He looked at me and he said, "Dude, the crowd's going to sing it."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, they won't. Like it's not going to." And then when they did start singing, because he was on commentary with me, he started losing it when they started singing, and he's looking to be like, "I told you so." And yeah, it was just like that moment when you guys finally come back together. Like that was, yeah, you're right. Like it's fun and it's funny, comedic stuff you guys are doing in the ring, but the story you guys told there, I think, is a very important part to put over as well.
Like this in particular, it's just he's like giving me the gift. It was me trying to give him the gifts, and finally he reciprocates. And then what's the most iconic thing he could give me to let everybody know? It's a simple bottle of oil.
Yeah, the oil machines are back.
And then the joy is the unbridled joy. And I think this is the only way that the face run would have worked, was to do something, to show that that this is what you're going to be seeing for a run. It's going to be stuff like this, and there's also an element of realness for me, because when we first started, Pepper, when we first started the tag team, Pepper got in my ear at the beginning and wanted me to do less of Psycho Mike, and look, you gotta look, you're in shape, you're talented, and I feel like this gimmick is something that's holding you back. And so earlier on in our run, I was not playing it up as much. But then it was during this storyline, as we were doing the split up, where I was, on my own and kind of doing my own thing. And he started seeing like how much I loved doing it, and how much everyone else loved seeing it, and like he realized that was actually me, and he changed his tune for the second run, where he's kept telling me that, you got something there, and it's so nice to see somebody have so much fun, and like I'm having a lot of fun when I'm doing it with you. So as this storyline was happening, it was kind of art imitating life in a way, where by the end of it, where he gives me the gift, it was him in a way, like even behind the scenes, kind of
accepting
me as like the character, the professional of Jesse accepting Mike, it's gimmick, right? So this was a special moment for me, and like we bonded a lot after this in an odd way, where it's while we were splitting up and trying to tell this story, it's when we became much better friends than we you get your acquaintances at shows that you see all the time, and your friends. There's a lot of people I'd call friends, but like we got really close during us and for that run.
Well, and it's bringing back a lot of feelings for me as well, just kind of going back and watching this match over again in its entirety. And Mike, this is something that you and I have done a couple of times off camera, where we've talked about some of the concepts and gimmicks that you come up with. But it's always fun for me to have a chat with you and really get over the fact that there is a method to your madness, and there's a story to be told, and you're not just doing things on a whim. You're doing it with purpose, and you're doing it with sense, and that's why it works. Mike, thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to join us here and relive what's in the box with us. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.